Hey guys, welcome back to Echoes of Experience. Today we're going to talk about self worth and self respect. Um, because it took me a long time to learn not only what that was, but also how to implement it in my life. In a sense where I no longer allow certain things to continue in my life. I no longer allow people to cross boundaries that I've set because I value myself, right? I hold myself at a certain value, and I'm not like cocky. I'm not arrogant. I'm not the kind of person who, if you do like a tiny little minuscule thing, I just cut you out of my life. No, I'm the person. If I've communicated a problem, right, and that problem persists time and time again, I'm then going to remove you from my life, or I'm going to tell you I'm removing myself from this situation until I see a change, depending on how much I value that relationship. And to be real with you, there are very few relationships I value enough for that to be a thing and for me to be like I'm going to wait for change. I think I've said that to one person in my life ever, and anybody else I don't care. I'm at a point in my life where I'm tired of bullshit. I'm tired of drama and arguing with people. I'm fucking sick of it, dude. I've done it my entire life. Okay? I don't care. You want to argue? I don't. I'm out. So, I'm going to use this as an example for what I mean. Okay? I was involved with someone. I will not name names. I will not hint. They will know, but you won't. Um, there was a pattern that I saw, and I did my best to make the changes that I knew I needed to make. And there are times I slipped up on that, but I did my best to keep making those changes and implement them for the betterment of that relationship. And this applies to friendships, relationships, whatever, just to keep it broad, okay? Um, so I made those changes, and the pattern that I noticed was a negative pattern, and it was continuous, regardless of if I spoke on it or not. If I set that boundary, it got walked on. So I didn't announce, I didn't um, make a big deal out of it. I just stopped putting effort into that relationship at all. I didn't remove them from any of my socials. I think they removed me, but I didn't remove them from any of my socials. I just stopped all communication. It's not a hard thing to do, at least for me, because once I see a cycle that shows me that my my communication, what the issue I am seeing is being communicated, if that communication isn't valued, I value it. You know what I mean? Like I cared enough about this relationship to even bring this to you, and there was no point at all. It just kept happening. And so I removed myself. It's very fucking easy for me to do. I've gotten I've burned a lot of bridges in terms of like friendships and relationships, whatever, in my life, because there was a point I had a limit for sure, but I didn't value myself enough at one point to put a stop to it before I reached my limit. Because once I got to that limit, I was angry. I was in a lot of pain. There was a lot of unnecessary negative emotion coming out of me because I'm reacting to a situation in front of me, right? And there's no point in doing that. All that does is create a more stress in your life. And I'm not fucking here for it. I've stressed about enough things for a long time, and I have much more to go. And if it's going to be people that I have to stress over, relationships, friendships, whatever, I'm out. I don't care. I don't care. And I think everybody should think that way. For the simple fact, I see a lot of people in continuous cycles of, we're going to use the toxic relationship just as an example, okay? So it's a very common, broad example. A couple breaks up over and over and over again. Everything is good at first. Things seem like they're changing, and then it falls into the same old shit over and over again. And then they break up again. And then a certain amount of time goes by. One of them will manipulate the other one, or I'm going to say that's manipulation. One of them will manipulate the other, and it'll be the same thing as it was before. He's changed this time, or she's changed this time. No, they haven't. Especially if it's only been, a couple weeks, couple months since y'all broke up to begin with. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't work that way. No one works that way. Ever. It takes a lot of time to implement changes in order to make something healthy. If it was unhealthy to begin with, and sometimes that change is just to cut the relationship off altogether. I like to think of myself as a fair person. I give people chances, I most of the time have a lot of patience and just kind of let shit roll off on my back, because why am I going to stress over something so stupid? But there comes to a certain point, my limit is much, much less now, because I'm really good at pattern recognition. So I'm the person who will interrupt the pattern to be like, I'm fucking removing myself. This is not good for me. And I won't even say anything. Sometimes I have said stuff before, like, I don't want you in my life because of this, or I'm removing myself because of this, whatever. And then the other 80% of the time, I don't bother, because what's the point? If I've already communicated, that person's an adult. Okay? We're all adults, right? We should be able to, we have the basic understanding of, maybe I shouldn't do this. And most of us are aware of what we're doing before we're doing it. Right? It's not like every single person on planet Earth has a problem of blacking out and making impulsive decisions based on dumb shit. I have this impulse, I'm going to go do this, or this person set a boundary, a couple days goes by, I'm going to walk all over that now. Right? You have a moment of, oh, should I do this? Is this a thing that I should do? And some of you will speak out loud and let your stupid fucking friends that know you shouldn't do this tell you that you should do that, and then you do it. You know what I mean? When even you in those shoes should value yourself enough to be able to just recognize, I shouldn't do this, and not fucking do it. Whatever the case may be. Stepping over a boundary, talking like shit to somebody, treating your server like you're a fucking asshole. Whatever. repeating a cycle with the same person over and over and over again. I have gone over this, and I'm sure 90% of the people who give a shit to watch this have also heard this. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over and expecting a different result. That is the literal definition of insanity. And if you keep doing the same thing over and over and over, you have essentially become the definition of insane. Like, it's not, I feel like it's not difficult. I feel like we make it more complicated than it is. Or we let people get in our heads and tell us to do things that we shouldn't be fucking doing, even though we know better. I feel like most people know better. And most people are able to recognize a pattern in their own actions as well as other people's. Right? And this is where that self-worth comes in, valuing yourself enough to put a stop to it. If it's a cycle that is just getting you nowhere and is absolutely fucking terrible for you, why wouldn't you put a stop to it? You know what I mean? Where does it get you if you don't put a stop to it? To the definition of insanity. It's not difficult. It's not complicated. I understand that some people have a little bit more of a malleable mind. Sure, some people are more easily influenced than others. Sure. But everyone has the basic understanding, I feel like. If you don't, then that's another conversation. But I feel like most people have the basic understanding to not repeat a cycle that is clearly hurting you. And I feel like I've become a pretty good example of doing that. I have found patterns in quite a few relationships, even this year. And that pattern was not a good pattern for me. Or I felt like it was a really dumb pattern, considering anybody that I involve my life with is a grown fucking adult. They know better. Right? They know better. But they keep doing it like it works for them. And sometimes maybe it does. That's where the self-respect comes in. If you respect yourself enough and value yourself enough, you're not going to be that person. Because even being in the shoes of someone who repeats a pattern of hurting people, I'm not innocent of this either, by any means. But if even in those shoes, if you are noticing that you are burning bridges and you are hurting relationships and other people because of a pattern that you have with every single one of these people, where does that get you? Why wouldn't you want to stop that pattern? You know what I mean? I feel like I'm going to keep saying it because I really feel like everyone should know. If you are able to recognize a pattern in your own behavior, and I feel like most of us are, if you are one that wants to do better, you're going to do better. You're going to make those changes. If you don't want to do better, first of all, what the fuck are you doing here? Secondly, where are you going? Where is that going to get you? What is that serving you? How is that serving you? What is that doing to get you further in life other than the quote unquote satisfaction of I hurt that person's feelings. If you get joy out of hurting someone's feelings, that's another conversation. We can get into that on another day. So if you respect yourself enough, regardless of whichever side of the fucking coin you're on, you're going to change the pattern. You're going to put your foot down and say no more. Regardless of if the person that's hurting you is your mother, your girlfriend, your fucking best friend that you've known for 20 years. I don't give a shit who it is. If it's the same shit over and over and over and all it's doing is hurting you, what are you doing? You're better than that. I feel like most of humanity is better than that, but we act like we're the victim whenever we get hurt by the same person over and over and over again. Like that makes sense. You remember the phrase, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me? Do you know why that's a phrase? Because if you are fooled once, that is on the other person. Because they had full intention of fucking hurting you. Fool me twice, shame on me is because you didn't fucking learn from it to begin with. It's not hard to learn from stuff. You take a lesson out of everything. What do you do whenever you have something that you like doing or something that needs to be done and you know a better way to do it, but you learn a better way to do it and you don't implement that better way to do it? Let's use the dishwasher. Okay. The invention of the dishwasher. We went from scrubbing everything with our hands, drying it off with a rag, or setting it out in a certain way for the water to fall off and for it to finish drying, like on a drying rack, right? Then the dishwasher was made, and that makes it a whole lot more efficient for people who have families in their household, especially, right? Imagine if a stay-at-home mom spent every single night after she cooked dinner, she fed everybody. We'll say 2 kids, her and her husband. Okay. That woman spends every single night scrubbing those dishes with her hands. After a while, after she hears about the dishwasher, I'm gonna imagine she wants the break from doing it with her fucking hands, right? Because there is a pattern of I like doing my nails, I go and get them painted, or I go get new ones put on, whatever. I don't know a whole lot about nails, clearly. I like my nails getting done, and every single time I scrub the dishes, after like a week, when these nails should last 3 weeks, pop off, or they break, or so on and so forth, because she is sitting there scrubbing food off of plates with her fucking hands. Then the dishwasher gets made. Now she can just put it all in the fucking dishwasher and all she's got to do is put them away. Why wouldn't we be like that? Why wouldn't we just day-to-day life in relationships find a better way to do stuff for ourselves or for the relationship? We're going to make it selfish for the sake of this particular video. Why wouldn't we find a better way to do things better for ourselves and implement that? Why? Do we like living the hard way? Because I don't. I've done that. I've done that my entire fucking life. So if someone tells me a way that I can make something more efficient or something that is going to benefit me more, I fucking listen, because that person knows a better way than I do, and it makes sense in my head. If anything I just said doesn't make sense to you, or whenever someone tells you, like let's say your mom gets involved in your relationship, because your relationship is a toxic cycle of you get together, you break up, you cry, You mourn over that relationship. You get back together and repeat the process. Okay, your mom gets involved. She wants you to be better to yourself because she knows you deserve better than that. But you keep going and repeating the same fucking cycle. But you have a solution already. You have the means to break the pattern. You just don't do it. Why? Where's it getting you? What is it doing for you? Oh, I love him. Do you? Or do you love the idea of what you think you can make that person? That's all I have to say about that one. Respect yourselves. Value yourselves. Make other people who don't value you value you. Don't go arguing with people. Don't go out there and fucking if you decide to cut off a relationship, don't go out there and fucking make a big deal out of it. Post it on social media, tell them directly. If it's not worth it, don't fucking put the effort in. It's not difficult. I promise. I've been doing it for a while now. I'm just a lot better at my age at recognizing the pattern before it starts affecting me. And I feel like if we all did that, we'd be in a better spot. So I will see you on the next one.